And in studio, we are about to talk about the Association of Development of Education Africa. There is an upcoming conference or event, and we have Inyan Umoron, who is the project manager for ADEA, and we have Chinedu Anerado, who is also the communication specialist of ADEA. Welcome, gentlemen and lady. How are you doing?
Very well.
Let's start with the ADEA. What is it about? You.
Thank you very much, and big ups to you guys on the Northern Fair. Congratulations. Maybe we can share exactly how education links up to
beautiful.
Sort of businesses
I think we should.
that
Yeah,
happen.
we should. We should.
And then thank you for having us.
Yeah, beautiful.
ADEA stands for the Association for the Development of Education in Africa. We are a policy forum on education in Africa established in 1988 to basically liaise or coordinate with African countries on matters concerning education policy. We were the brainchild of the World Bank, then transferred to UNESCO, and then moved down to Africa for the continent to actually own a body dedicated to canvassing and helping it reflect on and, look at policy or data-driven policy issues on education in Africa. We are hosted as a special project within the African Development Bank Group in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. So ADEA is actually a unique value proposition for countries on the continent, 54 of them, represented by their ministries of education and training. So in a nutshell, our responsibility is to consistently provide adequate policy evidence to countries for some of the policy options before them in terms of improving education quality of learning and learning outcomes across all the countries.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's an interesting one, and it looks like the education sector has a lot of issues that really has to be looked at. But let's look at the upcoming conference. Ian, if you would want to help us with the conference that you're about to do, maybe details of the conference and what really the focus will be of on the conference that you're about holding.
So the conference, it's very Pan-African. So it's this forum that is bringing together high-level policymakers, educators, researchers, across the continent, including development partners as well. And the major theme of it is for us to speak about ways in which to strengthen the resilience of African education systems. And as part of it, right, we're going to be talking about very major things that happen within the education system. For instance, from education financing, a number of you have heard about, the USAID no longer existing as a development partner, and that used to be a huge funder of education. And generally, education financing is a big gap in African education systems. So that's one thing we'll be talking about. We'll talk about foundational learning. We have a theme around EdTech, which obviously you know that this is really quite important, and we're moving into the age, the 21st century with AI in place. So we're providing a forum for that discussion to happen, and this is bearing in mind that a number of African systems have already done some of this. So this is an opportunity for us to reflect on the progress that countries have made, education systems have made across these different sub-themes, and also the challenges that they faced, and use this opportunity to share learning experiences, share best practices, and then also have a point where we all commit to doing things differently, to make things better, to scale interventions that have worked. So this is a forum, it's a major forum that cuts across the continent. So yes, we are looking for, we are awaiting a lot of conversations that will spark reforms in the next couple of years. So first, this Triennale is building on what happened 3 years ago. So we hold it every 3 years, and the last one was held in 2022.
So you've held it how many times?
I think we started holding the Triennale. So it used to be the biennial. It used to be every 2 years, and now every 3 years. I think we've had 4. This is the fifth one.
Oh, fifth.
Yeah. So we have that. And then the thing is, after every Triennale, the stakeholders come to a commitment for ahead of the next one. So in a way, we're using this opportunity to track the progress between the promises and commitments that were made in 2022.
Whether you've been able to fulfill these commitments
Yes.
and also been able to deliver them.
Yes, so what are the challenges you're facing? What are the successes, right? So we're using that to reflect. We're using this opportunity to reflect on what countries have done so far and how we are moving forward as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. 5 times. And you've held it in which countries? Because I know that you, Chinedu, I know that this time around you are doing it in Ghana. It's just so exciting, and the benefits the Ghana would derive from this event that you be holding here in our country.
The previous one was hosted by Mauritius. The one before that was hosted by Senegal in Dakar. The one before that was hosted in Ouagadougou by the government of Burkina Faso. And I think before then, I think it was, there was a version of it that also has happened in France and Algiers as well. So there's been, the Triennale has a rich, very rich history, dating back to the early 2000s when it started initially as the Biennial and then the Triennale. The government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Education, are the host country, while ADEA is the organizer. Right? I need us to be able to understand those differences. So you've basically provided us a space and asked all the delegates. We are looking close to 1,000 people descending on this country started arriving actually. It's going to look like an education fair, right? Conversations have started, small side workshops, side events, engagement, partners meeting and all that. I know that this morning UNICEF is out doing some school visit for an initiative that is going to be part of the concrete discussions on Wednesday to Friday. Partners like the Arizona State University are in country doing the engagement, the MasterCard Foundation and what have you. Everybody is in country. More people are going to start coming from today and tomorrow. We are quite very grateful to the country for opening its doors to us. The leadership within the country and the Ministry of Education in particular, Honorable Idrisu and his team have been very gracious working with us closely to ensure that this is done. And I think that the country stands at a very opportune moment to showcase what it's been doing over the past 3 years. Ghana was with us in Mauritius, substantially represented, and we are happy to partner with them to do this one. The benefit to the country is immense. It's an opportunity for them to reflect on what's happening, facilitate knowledge exchange, and put its name in the global education map, because much as this is focusing on African education, it more or less has a global dimension. There's also the added benefit to showcase some of the homegrown initiatives in education, some of the EdTech initiatives that are happening. We're going to be having exhibitions. Close to 23 organizations are standing with us to be exhibiting, showcasing some of the new ideas that they've been able to come up with, and then use that as an opportunity to attract additional investments into the country in the education space. There's also the tourism benefit, right? Ghana has been doing a lot of work promoting its tourism potentials to the world. And we've presented, this event has presented an opportunity for the country to basically showcase what it has to offer. People are going to come in here, bringing in very important foreign exchange that can support the economy and what have you. So this is what the benefit countries stand to reap from international platforms or international engagements and forums like this. And we're quite excited about the level of organization and engagement and participation that we've seen from the ministry, and we're looking forward for the conversations to kick off. Wow,
this is interesting. But you, Ian, is it strictly by invitation? Who qualifies to participate?
So it's been open to every education stakeholder. So whether you're a researcher, whether you are a development partner or an educator. So we had the registration open online. I think we just closed it recently. So everybody who is interested in education, right, a stakeholder, and obviously people who are interested in investing in education or even just understanding the system, yes, it was open to everyone to apply.
Yeah, and then we are going to be equally having hybrid participation. Not everybody can be on site. But then there's also an opportunity for you to follow proceedings and engagement online. The president of the country will be gracing us with his presence to open the event.
That's nice.
That basically means that all eyes are going to be on us and on Ghana, and we believe that the country is going to deliver.
Wow. And it's going to last for how many days?
3 days.
3 days.
Yeah, between Wednesday and Friday. Yeah.
Wednesday and Friday. Okay, that's interesting. You should try and be part of it so that at least you get to know a lot. You want to say something?
Yeah, the opening ceremony is on Wednesday. You should come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll pass by. And what do you have? Is it twist that you've done on your hair or what? Is it twist?
I have a micro lock.
Micro lock. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. You've had a conversation on the hair thing. Since you are doing with education, I just want to take your thought on that. What the education minister is saying that if you are looking at maybe going in for a beauty contest in the school, in the various senior high schools, you shouldn't have your hair on and all that. Having your hair on doesn't mean that like you're going in for a beauty contest. I'm just paraphrasing what he said. So it's literally get your hair down and go to the school. This comes on the back of a video that had gone viral on TikTok that a young girl is supposed to go to school and had to take off or get her hair off so that she can go to school. You quickly, what do you make of this?
Okay, so first you picked on my hair.
Yes.
So I'll tell you why I have locks on, right? The reason why I have locks on is because it is easy.
Oh.
Right? So you see what I did this morning? I just sprayed water on it and came out.
Oh, wow.
I didn't have to think about, should I put it in a weave or should I put it in braids? I didn't have to think about that. So for me, it minimizes level of distraction with regards to my hair. Now, I don't know, I would want to talk about this from a research perspective, right? Or from a data perspective, because for me, it would be a case of what's the linkage between the hair doing and learning outcome. So if I want to look at it more broadly from a general perspective, I would say that the reason why one would say people should leave the hair as a low cut. I mean, I went to secondary school with low cut.
Oh.
In my early, when I was in primary school, I had a long hair, but by the time I got to secondary school, I had to put it on. But I feel like one of the reasons would be that to reduce distraction. Especially in the social media era where we have children putting up pictures, comparing their hairstyles. And then also, if we think about mental health, where some children will come to school with hair with all the rings on it, fancy things, and then the kids who are not well-to-do are having simpler hairstyles. So competition could be avoided. And then there's a distraction, there's a competition. But for me, I would want to really talk about it from a research perspective, but I don't have data on that. Right? So I would say that we can look at it from different angles, and it could be either a good, decision to make. I mean, generally, it's about the implications of it, not so much about the decision, but the implications. So on one side, it reduces distraction if the hair is gone off, is taken off. On the other side, I don't have data to prove if it really affects learning outcomes, right? So I can't say it is completely positive or negative.
For you, it's distraction.
That's so I look at it more. So this is my personal view. It's not a research-backed view.
That's
my personal view.
What of you, Chinedu?
Yeah, thanks. I think this is a very good opportunity to, like she mentioned, promote something around data-driven decision. So that the country should naturally have strong insights or information on maybe something like a randomized control trial that shows the performance of the girls in schools with hairs made, their performance, learning outcomes compared to those who have to cut their hair. But I think I relate quite strongly because as a millennial, I went to a boarding house where girls cut their hair.
Oh.
Yes, and that has been the standard I know, and I don't think my child going to school, I would permit having braids. Focus on your studies. It's very crucial and it's very important. But I recognize also the other side of the argument, right? Especially the woman's hair, the human hair on the lady is a very huge concept. It has economic dimension, it has psychological dimensions, it has social dimensions and its benefits. The African hair, for instance, has assumed even political proportions. If you read people like Chimamanda Adichie in one of our books, basically dedicated chapters discussing the woman's hair. Oh. Yes, so I think it's Americana, dedicated discussing the woman's hair. So I understand the linkages. However, we need to prioritize what's most important to us. The hair of a young girl between 11 and 17 years, when it's actually the early ages of teenage, where things can go south, or dedicating that much energy towards education. So you need to eliminate things like cost of making that hair, some of the unhealthy competition and behavioral tendencies that tend to prop up when unhealthy competition starts among young people, the issues about time consumed in making the hair and all that. So there's a very varied argument from the policy side, which is the minister saying everybody on low cut, right?
Yeah.
But we must not lose sight of the competitive nature and the benefit that the hair intends to ascribe, so that we must also implement something that allows people to exhibit their creativeness in terms of making the hair, showing what they can showcase, because that's also a very good and important revenue point for households, for the country, and so on and so forth.
I had to chip this in because you spoke about policy. They spoke about ADEA, also
Yes.
bringing the education ministries together. So maybe going forward, there could be a policy that could talk about the hairdo and hairstyle and how people should also behave in the various schools. So that's interesting.
One thing I would like to mention is that ADEA may not necessarily be interested in dabbling into some of these local nuances. We want to take up conversations in terms of where are you heading as a country in your education, comparative to the economy we want to build on the continent. What is the linkage between early child education, foundational learning, secondary education, and then those who go into tertiary education and those who go into skill acquisition, TVSD and what have you? How are we tuning our scientific and research sector to produce homegrown innovations and solutions to what we need? We want to be able to support countries in this direction and in this dimension, and it informs the 8 sub-themes that we'll be discussing at the Triennale: education financing, like she mentioned, foundational learning, higher education and scientific research as something 3, technical and vocational skills development, EdTech. AI is immense. How can countries profit? We are looking at policies and systems. From the policy made in the minister's office or in ministries of education, how does that translate to what comes out in schools in the remotest areas in Ghana? We are looking at school leadership. How do we groom teachers, school leaders? If you think back to your school days, you remember a very popular principal or headmaster who helped shape who you became. We realize that that is dropping, and we need to help countries scale that up. We are looking at issues around inclusion, gender and climate adaptation. There are parts of this country, perhaps in the northern region, affected by desertification, impacting schools, insecurity. These are policies that countries are dealing with. We want to be able to say, this person has done this properly. Can you share your lessons with others so that we can have that sort of cross-collaboration?
Let's just wrap up on that. I'm sure that when they come for the conference, they will be able to get a lot more than that. But you said that the date is when? Final one on that.
29th. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 29th to 31st of October.
Venue?
Labadi Beach Hotel.
Labadi Beach Hotel. Thank you so much, Ian, and thank you so much, Chinedu. Ian is the project manager at ADEA, and also Chinedu is the communications specialist at ADEA. That is the Association for the Development of Education in Africa. That was an interesting conversation.